Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered just how big those tiny specks of light really are? Our sun is massive, right? You could fit over 1 million Earths inside it. But what if I told you our sun is just an average-sized star? In fact, there are stars out there that are so gigantic, they make our sun look like a grain of sand. We're talking about stars 1,000 times bigger than our own. How is that even possible? Let's dive into the incredible world of stellar giants. First, let's get a sense of scale. Imagine the sun is a basketball. On Tiscali, Earth would be a tiny peppercorn. Now, imagine a star like Scuti, one of the largest known stars. If our sun is a basketball, Scuti would be a building over 100 stories tall. It's so big that if you placed it at the center of our solar system, its surface would extend past the orbit of Jupiter. Light takes 8 minutes to travel from the sun to Earth. To cross the diameter of Scuti, light would take several hours. These colossal stars are called supergiants, and their sheer size is mind-boggling. So, what makes these stars so enormous? The secret lies in their life cycle. A star's life is a constant battle between two powerful forces: gravity, which tries to crush the star inward, and the outward pressure from nuclear fusion in its core, which pushes everything out. For most of a star's life, these two forces are in balance. This stable phase is called the main sequence. Our sun is currently in its main sequence phase, happily fusing hydrogen into helium. But what happens when a star starts to run out of hydrogen fuel in its core? This is where things get interesting, especially for stars, much more massive than our sun. We're talking at least 8 to 10 times its mass. When the hydrogen in the core is used up, the fusion stops. Gravity wins the battle temporarily and starts to crush the core. This compression makes the core incredibly hot and dense. The temperature gets so high that a new fusion process begins in a shell surrounding the core, where hydrogen is still available. This new burst of energy from the hydrogen shell fusion is incredibly powerful. It pushes the outer layers of the star outwards with tremendous force. The star begins to expand, and it expands a lot. As the outer layers puff up and move farther from the hot core, cool dome, which is why these giants often glow with a reddish light. This is how a massive star evolves off the main sequence and becomes a red supergiant. The star isn't necessarily more massive than it was before, but its volume has ballooned to an astronomical size. It's like baking a loaf of bread. The dough puffs up and takes up much more space, even though the amount of ingredients hasn't changed. Think of it like a pressure cooker. The core is the heating element, and the outer layers are the steam. In a normal star, the lid is on tight, and the pressure is stable. But in a massive star running out of core fuel, it's like turning the heat way up. The shell fusion generates so much outward pressure that it inflates the star like a giant balloon. The star's density drops dramatically. The outer layers of a red supergiant are so diffuse they're almost a vacuum, more tenuous than the air in this room. That's why they can be so gigantic without immediately collapsing under their own gravity. Now, you might be wondering, what about our sun? Will it become a supergiant? The answer is no. Our sun just isn't massive enough. In about 5 billion years, when it runs out of hydrogen in its core, it will also expand, but it will become a red giant, not a supergiant. It'll still be big enough to swallow Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth, but it won't reach the colossal sizes of stars like Betelgeuse or Scuti. To become a true supergiant, a star needs a lot more starting mass. The life of a supergiant is a spectacular, but very short one, while a star like our sun will live for about 10 billion years. These massive supergiants burn through their fuel at a ferocious rate. They live fast and die young, lasting only a few million years. Their immense gravity creates extreme pressures and temperatures in their cores, causing them to burn through their fuel much more quickly. After the hydrogen shell burning phase, the core continues to contract and heat up, igniting the fusion of heavier and heavier elements. It fuses helium into carbon, then carbon into neon, and so on, creating a layered, onion-like structure in its core. Each stage of fusion happens faster than the last. The final stage, fusing silicon into iron, might last only for a single day, and this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Iron is the ultimate stellar ash. Fusing iron doesn't release energy. It consumes Italiano. Once the core is filled with iron, there's no more fuel to burn, to push back against gravity. The battle is over. Gravity wins, and it wins catastrophically. The core collapses in on itself in less than a second, triggering one of the most violent events in the universe. A supernova explosion. The collapse rebounds off the dense core, sending a powerful shockwave blasting through the star's outer layers. The star is torn apart in an explosion so bright it can outshine an entire galaxy for a short time. This explosion scatters all those heavy elements the star created: the carbon, the oxygen, the iron out, into space. These elements then become the building blocks for new stars, new planets, and even life itself. Every atom of iron in your blood was forged inside a massive star that ended its life in a supernova. So, in a very real way, we are all made of stardust from these ancient giants. What's left behind after the supernova depends on the initial mass of the star. It could be an incredibly dense neutron star, a city-sized object with the mass of 1.5 suns. Or, if the star was massive enough, gravity will be so overwhelming that the core collapses completely, forming a black hole, a region of space-time from which nothing, not even light, can escape. So, the next time you gaze at the stars, remember that you're not just looking at twinkling lights. You're seeing gigantic nuclear furnaces, some of which are thousands of times larger than our sun. These supergiants are cosmic factories, creating the very elements that make up our world and our bodies. Their spectacular deaths enrich the universe, paving the way for future generations of stars and planets. They are a testament to the incredible power and scale of the cosmos, reminding us just how small we are, and at the same time, how connected we are to everything out there. Thanks for joining me on this journey to the land of the giants. It's a universe of wonders, and we've only just scratched the surface. If you enjoyed this and want to explore more cosmic mysteries, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments which giant star fascinates you the most. See you in the next video.